What is up, everybody? Are we on? Is this thing up? YouTube? Are we here? I think so. All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. We're back on the morning show here on Stock Market TV. Friend to Israel, JC Parets, Steve Strazza, and Alfonso de Pablos with you this morning, as we are most mornings. Steve and I were just talking about how today is a special birthday / anniversary. We'll talk about that. We'll see what's on JC's mind. We'll see what's on Steve's mind. We'll see what's on your mind. What up, chat? How we doing? Let me make sure that we're alive here before we start the show. Are we up on YouTube? There we are. Okay, we're up. We are. My YouTube was being slow. What up, chat? Don, Phil, Zach, Mary, Paul, Dawson, Ron, Peter. I can't name you all. I'm sorry. I'm not going to. Let's get started today. New guest on. I love to have new guests on the show. Will Tamplin. He's a senior analyst at Fairlead Strategies. He'll be on at 9. It is Monday. We'll have Mr. Sam Gatlin on the show today. That's always fun to talk to Sam. And yeah, we'll see where that gets us. How about that? Smash the like. Here we go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, today's a special day. Special day today.
I heard about this.
I'm feeling a lot of gratitude today. A lot of gratitude, Strazza.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people like to complain, but it's just science. If you are grateful, it's really, really difficult for the brain to process being upset and stressed out and having anxiety and all of these things when you're feeling gratitude, right? That's just science, right? I'm not the expert, but I could tell you that I felt it. And you know, kids' birthday, twin birthday parties, you know, family was over, friends everywhere, open bar, fantastic weekend, stock markets at all-time highs.
For a kid's birthday party, open bar?
Dude, what do you think this is? And the best part about it all, it's just a coincidence that, you know, I'm feeling all this gratitude. Today is Canadian Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving, eh?
Somebody tell Louie.
Somebody tell Louie. Louie, it's Canadian Thanksgiving. They don't eat hot dogs on Canadian Thanksgiving, by the way, Louie.
Happy Thanksgiving to our friends from the north. Happy
Thanksgiving to everybody. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday of the year. Facts only. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody in Canada, everybody in America, and everybody around the world. It's a global celebration. Shout out Canada. Let's go, Spencer.
Okay, then. What do we got?
Steve Strazza, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed at the highest levels in human history on Friday. And are down 80 points this morning to 43,000 for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. S&P 500, 5870 inches, just inches. You could smell 6,000 on the S&P, up about 20 basis points this morning. NASDAQ 100 leading the way, up 1/3%. 20,500 for the NASDAQ 100 futures. How you doing? 30-year bond futures back under 120. Strazza 119 for the 30-year futures, 119 and change. Then you got crude oil down 2% at 74. Copper down 2%, 440. Gold slightly down 26.70. Silver down 1%, 31.40. With the volatility index still above 20. And we'll finish up the rundown with what's happening over in Funny Money Land. You've got Bitcoin up 2,000 points this morning. That's over 3%, pushing 65,000 for Bitcoin. That is specifically BTC, not to be confused with Bitcoin USD. We'll get into that in a minute. Ethereum also up 3.5%, 25.55. Solana up 3.5%, 153. Binance up 1.5%, 581. Total crypto market cap. Spencer Israel, are you ready for this? 2.2 trillion. How about that?
Yeah.
How do we feel?
Pretty good.
I like how we did. I like how you're doing the screen thing, Spencer. It makes me feel special.
I'm messing around.
Wow. Fantastic. And I like how you do this rundown because there's a lot of information in this. I got to my desk this morning. I looked through my Monday morning watch list and I said, oh, wow, the offense is on the field to start the week. Oh, boy, really? Indexes. So U.S. stock market indexes up modestly, but the smaller stuff and the riskier stuff is up more. Always looks good, right? Risk on. Synchronized global stock market rally. If you look at your global index watch list right now, there's like 4 countries that are red today. China's indexes are both up over 2%. Sorry, I got a little echo here. But that's not why I felt that way. It's the cryptos. So the cryptos were up about 3%. My altcoin index up about 4% since the market closed Friday. The junkiest stuff is doing the best. Stuff like Celestia and Sui and SEI and Aptos, right? The altcoins are waking up out here. And I'm not surprised to see that because crypto stocks tipped us off last week. The 3 premier crypto stock market vehicles are now MicroStrategy. Everybody knows about it. They talk about it all day, every day. Robinhood has replaced Coinbase as the crypto brokerage leader, platform, exchange. And then Galaxy Digital, the sleeper. Galaxy Digital, how about that one? BRPHF, for those of us who are participating here on US.
Are they officially Canadian?
Yeah, they're so Canadian. Mike Novogratz, shout out. Love these guys. Love what they're doing. This is more of a play on crypto more broadly than Bitcoin. I would say Robinhood is the same thing. Coinbase, same thing too. All 3 of those stocks broke out, closed at new cycle highs last week. All 3. So all 3 of the big crypto stock leaders breaking out. Then over the weekend, cryptos themselves following through, up 3%. I think you might get some fireworks here this week. I think if rates or dollars roll over, that's it. That kicks it off. That sets the whole thing off. Because all this is happening, JC, with an intermarket backdrop that hasn't been great past few weeks. Less good. Is that fair to say? With the dollar and rates rising, it's less conducive to higher prices for risk assets. Most of them.
I think you're stretching, Strazza. They've been pretty good, bro.
What's been pretty good? I'm saying the intermarket landscape shifted into more of a headwind than a tailwind, but risk assets have kept rallying for the past few weeks.
Yeah, all right, I'll give you that. You're saying like the strength, despite some potential headwinds, has been impressive. I'll give you that. Yep, you're right.
If they had done this with the dollar and rates falling, I would think that would be more normal. But everything's out here looking good. We're saying all of these positive things with dollars and rates really moving higher in a big way. If those charts roll over, I think that's what sets these resolutions off. And the stock market, again, is moving first, right? We look at charts of Bitcoin, Solana, any of these cryptos, they're not really going yet. The list of equity indexes, subsector indexes, cloud, cybersecurity, software, banks, financials, all breaking out of multi-month, multi-quarter resolutions last week. Stock market's talking to us.
Spencer, if you will, throw up slide 4, please.
Slide 4. Got it.
Yeah, this is the kind of range I'm talking about, JC.
This is what I'm talking about, Strazza.
This chart is everywhere right now.
You know what somebody told me on the Twitter this weekend? They told me a lot of things, but you want to know what they told me about my charts? They said, JC, all your charts are just smiley faces that are going from the lower left to the upper right. And I'm thinking to myself, are those that my charts are like that? Or is that just the way that the market is?
Did you tell them about relative strength and leadership?
You know, I don't necessarily bother with those, with those kind of peasants,
Listen, you can fight trends or you can ride them.
What is it that you say, Strazza? Below my line? Beneath my line?
Yeah. It was right.
You come at me telling me about my charts? No. You obviously are not in the know.
Are you quick to mute?
No, I'm a blocker. I'm not a muter.
Okay. Yeah, but you're not quick to block. You'll
muting people. What's the point?
So they
think about it. If somebody proves to you that the world is a better place without them in it, then just remove them from your world with the click of a button. That's it.
Yeah. When you block them, I feel like they feel like they got you or something. So like if you just mute them.
Oh yeah, they got me for sure.
No, but if you just mute them, like they have no idea, and they're just talking to some like blank.
That's one
void.
strategy, and I
work?
know people who incorporate that sort of strategy, and I respect it.
It's more passive aggressive to mute, which I'm a fan of.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah,
It's not for me. For me, if you suck at life so much that
Right.
I have to block you on a social media site, like you really are probably a horrible person. Your family probably hates you. Like, that sort of thing. I don't need those kind of people in my life. Nevertheless, it's Canadian Thanksgiving, and we are very thankful today. And one of the things I'm thankful for is the Perma Bears, because if it wasn't for these fuck sticks, there would not be as many shorts getting squeezed, because the simpletons have been listening to these fuck sticks for 2 years that have been telling you that this is a bear market rally. Oh my God. Steve Strazza, show them the chart.
All right, let's do this. So you want to go back? You want to go way back when it all began?
It began before it. Well, I'll let it slide. Go ahead.
He's a
Show
junior.
them the chart, Spencer. Give the people what they want.
He's a junior, JC.
Yeah,
junior.
I know. I was prepared for this.
I'm
Yeah,
a
he's a
junior.
junior. I had no arguments here. Don't matter to me.
Show me.
Put it up. But let's
Put it
listen.
up, Spencer.
So what are we talking about here? We sound like idiots. There's no chart still on the screen.
Spencer, you're killing me, Smalls.
What
been
slide? Okay, thank you. Jeez.
No, not this one.
What are you talking about? Oh, three.
Show the returns. Come on, Spencer. Try to keep up.
Oh, it's
Give the people what they want.
Alfonso.
No, that was the right one, Alfonso. Sorry.
There it is. There it is.
Okay.
This is what these assholes prevented you from doing, because they convinced you that you needed to be in cash, or like some like catastrophic event was happening any minute now.
So what do you say here? Pretty good.
The trend is your friend with benefits. And if you haven't learned that yet, learn it, live it, love it.
Do we have data on ticker trends in the chat? Because it might be time to feed the ducks in the Palantir.
Are you asking me?
But wait a minute. Wait. You said put in the IRA.
Yeah, I said that 2 days ago. Yeah.
No, you didn't. You said that 8 months ago.
Yeah, I've been saying it for a long time. People are talking about Palantir a lot, is my point. But yes, JC, it is a bull market. You seem shocked by it, looking at this chart. Are you surprised?
I'm going to tell you the truth. Like in real time, when I was telling Maria Bartiromo literally 2 years ago that we're in the middle of a bull market, and she looked at me like I was crazy. Remember that face? He turned like her face into like a meme.
Yeah, on the TV. Yep.
I didn't know that we were in the middle of a raging bull market. I didn't know that these returns were going to be like this. We were really just weighing the evidence, right? You were there right next to me, like, but you don't know, right? Like you think, you believe the data would suggest the following, like all of these things were true, but you don't actually know. In fact, if you recall, some of our good friends that are experts in this were very mad at me at the time for suggesting such an outrageous thing, like we were in the middle of a bull market. They ultimately came around, but in real time, they were not very happy with me. They're like, oh, JC's fighting trends, and this is not how technicians do it. Well, I guess we'll see. And here we are. Remember that? I keep receipts, Strazza. I don't call them out, but it's all in the old dome. I keep them. I keep the receipts. I know. They know too.
Okay. Victory laps are fun. I want to take one too.
It's not a victory lap. I'm answering your question. Are you surprised? And the answer is, yeah, kind of. It's pretty good.
But let's go back to that day, because there might be a lesson here. Seriously, okay. Let's dissect what happened a little bit. This was October 13th. I was getting made fun of on Twitter, just talking about the intraday price action. What happened here? It was CPI day, and CPI was all that mattered back in 2022. Do you guys remember?
I was at Dick's. No, I was at Lowe's, not Dick's. I was at Lowe's. Remember? I was on the phone with you YOLOing ARC. on the reversal that morning? Remember? I was in the parking lot at Lowe's talking to you, and I was YOLOing ARK.
This moment when JC was in the parking lot of Dick's YOLOing ARKs. This moment's Lowe's. From lows to highs is what you did, my friend.
Hey, come on now. There it is. One for the good guys.
This was the start of something. This sparked the Q4 rally, but what was it? It's when bad news, frankly, terrible news, stopped being bad news, according to the market. So, chart on the left, moving up and to the right, the blue line is the year-over-year CPI read. It hit its highest level since 1980s. Remember back then, all anybody wanted was cool CPI. They wanted it to be cool, coming below expectations. It set a record, highest reading since the 80s, above expectations, hot as it could be. They sold them coming out at the open. You see this big bullish engulfing here. They tested the lows. They tested a big breakdown. This is new cycle lows here, right? Taking out the levels from Q2. And then what happened? Huge reversal intraday. Everything turned around, flipped green, started ripping like crazy. And then we had follow through, epic follow through, breath thrust, momentum thrust, the whole thing. But it all began when the market took in news that was supposed to be really bad and send prices lower. However, when it digested that news in the matter of a couple hours, everything changed and prices went higher. An economist would be sitting there on a day like that saying, this can't be right. The market's got this wrong. What's it thinking? This CPI read was so hot. Inflation's at its highest level in 40 years. Market can't go higher. Technicians looked at this and said, this is as bullish as a candlestick gets. If we get follow through, that's it. JC's looking at our breadth reading saying, we have a bullish divergence in the amount of stocks making new lows.
Hold on. And Spencer, you could take the chart off if you'd like. And maybe we'll do a session about this later on in the week.
It was the reaction.
Anniversary.
It was the reaction, though. It wasn't the news.
But hold on. But here, Strazza's 100% right. Spot on. But here's the thing. Contrary to popular belief, bottoms are not an event, right? This event that Strazza is talking about is spot on. But that process had already begun several months earlier, which is why Strazza says JC's a Juner, because the new lows list, in other words, the number of stocks going down, peaked on June the 16th of 2022. So by the time the indexes made their final bottom in October of that year, there were very, very few stocks that were still going down. Most of them were already going up. People think this bull market really got going in 2023, when in fact, almost everything was rallying in the back half of 2022. It's just that people were blindfolded because these large cap tech stocks were not participating in that rally. But virtually everything else was.
You're so right.
Especially consumer discretionary, industrials, financials, like not unimportant things. Remember that?
All the things that were terrible started doing the best in that moment. Real estate, banks, ARK stocks.
And in hindsight, I could have probably chosen a better vehicle at the time to express a bullish thesis in the market than ARK. But I didn't know that at the time, and it did work.
No, I think it was pretty good over the short term, though. That might have been one of the best, to be honest.
Now that we know, there could have been some better options. But nevertheless, that was my choice at the time.
It doesn't matter, dude. It was one of those moments where you just throw a dart, buying anything worked on that day. And right. JC, you're right. The writing was on the wall. Bottoms are one of these things that they happen slowly and then all at once, right? Yeah. And that was just that day where price at the index level really confirmed it in a big way. Then we had some massive follow through, and everybody knows how Q4 went and that huge chase into year end last year.
Before we bring on Kenny, I want to show some smiley faces.
Kenny's off. Kenny's off today.
What's that?
Kenny's off today. He'll be back tomorrow.
Oh, well.
Remember, he went to the whole Atlanta thing? And
Indeed.
Georgia?
No doubt. Okay, so with that being said, why don't we take a look at some smiley faces? Because I am being accused, Mr. Steve Strazza, of having charts that just show smiley faces. I would argue that perhaps all those smiley faces are a function of the environment that we're in, and not that I am a happy man.
Also, if I got called a perma bull right now, I would take that as a great compliment.
I only get called perma bull during bull markets.
Right.
I've noticed over the years.
So that's
Regularly,
my
it's one of
point.
those characteristics, like prices go up, momentum is positive,
Yeah.
breadth expands, I get called a perma bull. Like these are the things that happen in bull markets. I've noticed.
But when someone calls you a perma bull in a bull market, you have to think to yourself, I'm doing something right.
No, that's yeah, right, exactly. Like I've probably been really bullish this whole bull market. So one for the good guys. Why don't we take a look at some of those smiley faces there? Why don't we start with that mid-cap chart once again? The Jan Brady's of the world getting no love for the mid-caps. I would argue that this index, is this the most underrated index on the planet? Maybe the value line index is the most underrated index on the planet. But Spencer Israel, before working with us on a day-to-day basis, how often would you look at the mid-cap 400?
Never. My only frame of reference for the mid caps is that they are unloved. They are the unloved middle child, and the only thing I know about them or remember really is that they know, even S&P knows that, or whoever the index or MSCI, whatever, even they know that the mid cap is unloved because they did an ad campaign like a decade ago with Elizabeth Banks about the mid caps, specifically about the mid caps.
Elizabeth Banks, like the
yes,
actress?
Yes, because and the whole point of the ad campaign was that they are the unloved middle child, but don't forget about us. That was the whole point of the campaign. And that's all I remember because I don't actually look at these right all that often. I don't even know what's in them. At least the mid caps or at least the small caps, I know what's in that, right? It's regional, it's banks, it's biotechs, right? It's small tech or whatever. I don't really know what's in here, honestly. So,
well, you have stocks that are roughly between 2 and 10 billion, but it's not exactly that clear.
Right.
You've got 21% industrials, 15% financials, 14% consumer.
So it sounds like it's a hodgepodge to me, which
You know what it sounds like, Spencer Israel? It sounds like Europe.
Oh.
The composition of this index is very similar to the composition in Europe. A lot of industrials, healthcare, a lot of financials, a lot less technology, right? That's pretty standard. Also, a couple of things. First of all, when you go back and you talk to old portfolio managers, right? True professionals that have been around for a while, 4 decades, 5 decades. Go ask them about their biggest winners of all time, biggest winners they had in their careers. You know what they're going to tell you? They found those stocks in the mid caps. Trust me. Go ask them. They'll tell you. They come from mid caps, huge winners. Because I don't know if this is like the reason, but in my head, a pretty good reason is if you're a mid cap, you're no longer a small cap, right? You've already graduated. So something's going right. Right? Something's going right. You're no longer, so you kind of have like this fundamental filter where now you're no longer a small cap. Now you're a mid cap. So like things are probably not getting worse. They're probably getting better as long as they're on the way up, of course. But they're not quite a large cap yet. So you have all this upside. So now you're not completely useless because you're not a micro cap or a small cap, but you're not yet a large cap. So there's something going on there. And I think there's something to be said for that. Number one. Number two, our good friend Ed Clissold, and we should have him back on the show soon. Very, very smart guy. Does great work over at Ned Davis. And Ed Clissold did a study of the worst performing market cap groups of every year going back to the 1970s. So in other words, the performance of small caps, the performance of mid caps, and the performance of large caps. And as it turns out, over the last 50 some odd years, mid caps have only been the worst one of those like twice, right? Mid caps are almost never the worst performers. So if rule number one is don't lose money, then looking at mid caps is probably a pretty good place to start. So mid caps underrated, and the index itself, when I think about the median stock, when I think about the average stock, when I think about those sorts of things, the equally weighted indexes, like mid caps are like in that universe for me from a market analysis standpoint. But then from an execution standpoint, there are stocks popping off there all the time. And like I said, there's like this fundamental filter where they're not useless anymore. They're no longer small caps, Moving on up to the right. It's one of those kind of things. Why don't we take a look at a few more smiley faces? Look at midcap financials. Next chart here. Look at that base. Steve Strazza. Is it that all my charts just have smiley faces, or is it just that the market has been basing for several years on a lot of levels, indexes, sectors, stocks, and we're just now breaking out to new all-time highs, and this bull market is just getting going? Is it me? Is it me, or is it them?
The charts look great out here, even the bad ones. You look at some of the worst stock market indexes you could find, worst industry groups you could find, and you could still draw smiley faces. In other words, they're not breaking down.
That's right.
These ranges are not resolving lower.
Look at the worst point.
Stuff. Look at cannabis, solar energy, whatever.
China.
Those are breaking out. That's becoming like a 3-year rounding bottom. The same with the ARC stuff, the IPO index.
One more smile, and I want to hear your thoughts here, Mr. Strazza. One more smile, Spencer. Give him the next one. Give it to him good. Give it to him.
These financials have been incredible. Micro cap technology. I mean, this is
mid-cap.
fantastic. This is a huge theme for me right now.
Mid-cap check, not micro cap.
Oh, mid-cap. I thought it said MIC cap. This is a huge theme for me because you're seeing participation move down the cap scale in growth sectors. So tech stocks that weren't working before, the really small ones, the more speculative growth stocks are working in a huge way. I have a massive, massive outsized position in ARC and ARC components right now.
Colin Farrar asking best all-star chart screen for mid-caps, young aristocrats, and that's pretty good for mid-caps specifically. I would argue the 2 to 100 club is specifically designed to find mid-cap stocks that are scaling to 100 billion.
Alfonso, throw that table up. Here we go. I'll answer your question right now. It's a great question. So you could see
2 to 100
the overlap.
club.
You can see the overlap here. We're doing work on this. There is a lot of overlap between minor leaguers, which really is the answer. Minor leaguers is where you're going to get most of the mid-cap stuff.
Minor leaguers are where you get the mid-caps if you use a traditional definition. Are we putting up a chart or no?
Put up that table that I dropped
Put
in.
it up, Spencer. There it is.
What?
So you see this overlap between minor leaguers and young aristocrats?
Ooh, I like this. Is the first time I see
What-
this.
what
Very
is-
nice.
Wait, what is this from? Did you just make this?
Yeah, man.
How about
shit.
that? Steve Strazza. This is nice, bro.
This is useful. I don't have to rely on my crappy memory. This is
Wow.
useful.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Drop into the analyst team chat every now and then.
I can't. It's private. I'm not invited.
Never mind. Stay out.
Kind of like that. I kind of like that. Spencer's not allowed in.
This
This
is
is
like a
very well
surprise,
done,
guys.
Strazza. Explain to the folks what's going on here, because it's obvious to us what's happening here. But tell the folks.
We used to just do like random bottoms up scans back in the day. We were always doing this work, but then we
Not random.
No, but like we would do different ones for different environments. And then we said, wow, we really like these. Let's start doing some regularly. So we have a suite of bottoms up scans that we do, which all have different names. With like the dividend stuff is the young aristocrats. The growth stock scan is the 2 to 100. We have some, standard large cap scans like the junior internationals, or really the Hall of Famers. And then we go smaller with the juniors, minor leaguers, even smaller than that. And we do some more unique things like under the hood. We're looking at social mentions, unusual volume, basically investor interest metrics. Freshly squeezed, we're looking at short interest information. We have a whole bunch of stuff. What we had never done before was actually quantify in a formal way how much overlap there was in these universes. In other words, if, for example, Carrier Global is popping up on young aristocrats and Hall of Famers and some other scans, we want to know. The only way we were really picking up on that was as we went through the scans, we would say, oh, this one again. Oh, that one again. Now we're just making a table and quantifying it on a regular basis. And there is a lot of overlap. And it's interesting to see where that overlap happens.
This is fantastic. Very well done. We've always talked about this like in theory, but actually like quantifying like this is fantastic. Again, well done, everybody. Well done. And to finally just answer the question, what is the best scan for mid-caps? It depends how you define mid-caps. In a more traditional sense, then it's the minor leaguers, which are for us, small caps. So for us, the minor leaguers are companies between $1 and $4 billion, which eats into that traditional mid-cap market cap.
2 to 10.
It's bullshit. Like 2 to 10 billion is a mid cap, so 10 billion is a large cap. That's laughable. $10 billion in 2024 is not a large cap when you have $3 trillion companies. You have three $3 trillion companies.
Yeah.
So I would argue that even our classification of mid caps being only 4 to 30 billion, that's probably still a little light, but that's good enough. So for us, mid caps are between, roughly 2 and 30 billion for our 2 to 100 club. So that to me classifies a mid cap. Once you're above 30, you can argue that you're still probably not a large cap, but we'll let it go. We'll give it to you. So that up to 30 billion, that's a big one. So I would say minor leaguers and 2 to 100 club, right? That's the answer. Dual answer.
Yes, I agree. And then just to bring this conversation full circle, we might start actually like using this publishing, reports every now and then. We'll call it like the can't miss list. And basically, we'll use this.
Are just dropping bombs today.
We'll use it as like our final check that like we didn't miss anything, right? Like if names pop up and they're popping up on multiple scans, we're probably writing about them. So we'll look at this and make sure. And if one somehow, snuck through the cracks, we'll put it out and publish this list.
Can't miss list. Wow,
can't miss
I
list.
like that.
Can't stop, won't stop.
I'm into it. Can we just I did want to show one more slide 11, and then we'll bring on our guest. Slide 11. Over the weekend, speaking of smiley faces and developments that we're seeing across the market, same thing over and over and over again. Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10, Inu, ERC 20, ticker symbol Bitcoin USD, breaking out of a monster base to new all-time highs. This is not nothing. This is pushing 300 million in market capitalization, which would make it a small cap stock, by the way, if it was a stock. How do we feel? Do we care?
What's the market cap?
300.
JC, this pattern looks familiar, does it not?
I'm being told that all my charts are smiley faces. Excuse me. I stand corrected. 320 million market cap.
Those smiley faces are starting to resolve higher, though. I think that's really what we should be talking about. They're breaking out. These ranges are breaking out.
That's some name, huh?
Wait, I have a quick
financials, industrials, energy's digging in, not breaking down. Parts of materials starting to look really good, not just precious metals. It's a lot working. Real estate.
What's the question, Spencer? What do you got?
JC, we've talked about how like the conventional market cap like bands, like small, mid, large, are maybe in need of an update. Do we need to make completely new bands for the crypto market? Because you say it's the equivalent of like a small cap stock, but like in crypto land, like it's apples and oranges, right? Like in terms of market cap, because you have one dominant one in Bitcoin and then a couple ones that are just below that, and then a whole bunch of stuff that's way below that, right? From market cap standpoint. So like, do we need to categorize it in a different way?
I think we used to, and then we came around to cryptocurrencies, and unless Strazza has changed his mind, but I'm still in the camp that cryptocurrencies are just another industry group within the tech sector.
Yeah.
At 2 trillion and change, it doesn't make it the biggest industry group, and it's not the smallest industry group either. Bitcoin becomes the bellwether and part of the Mag 8, if you will. And the rest of the altcoins, including Ethereum, it's like saying NVIDIA and Broadcom with Bitcoin and Ethereum, right?
Yeah, okay.
Bitcoin and Ethereum is like NVIDIA, Broadcom, or something like that. And then you've got others under it. Like, this is how I think about cryptocurrencies. This is
100%.
just small cap stock. We don't have to put it on a pedestal because you need to go to a different exchange. Like, it's not that big of a deal. We're adults. Like, stop being such a baby about it.
No, I was saying to Todd, like, it is a different asset class, but 100%, JC, that's how you want to think of it. And frankly, if you had to categorize them within the existing, structure, subsector structure that we have, they would be software stocks. They would be cloud stocks. Some would be cybersecurity stocks.
Also, one more thing.
Stocks are breaking out. Their comps, their peer group is breaking out at the index levels. That's
exactly right. And Strazza is spot on, because we're not classifying them as tech because, like, in theory, it's technology and oh my God. No. We are classifying them as tech because they trade like tech stocks, you see, right? And like, I wish it was another asset class. To be honest, I wish they didn't trade with tech stocks. How great would it be to have this uncorrelated universe of assets over there? But it's not. It trades with tech.
And frankly, if you did have to classify them, they'd be software or cloud or internet or whatever. They'd be something that is breaking out right now, and that's all that matters. Spencer, do you find it strange that Kamala is absolutely tanking in the polls, yet solar energy stocks won't break down?
I haven't thought about that.
I think that the solar is just part of the China, Trump, things, airlines, like just the shit out there that hasn't been working is working. I don't think that has anything to do with, I think it's more she just started talking and then people were like, oh shit, I
saw Tom Lee on the TV this morning talking about election market seasonality. And he was talking about how it doesn't really matter so much who gets elected. The seasonality trends tend to be very positive, especially after the election. However, who does get elected should impact which groups actually perform the best during said rally. Yeah. And he specifically called on crypto as a Trump trade.
That's probably true. It's probably true.
So maybe the price action from last week, banks were rocking, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, they had good earnings. That's why the banks are rocking. Well, Kamala was falling. Trump was rising rapidly in the polls and in the betting markets. And all the Trump trades, crypto, banks, everything else, were working really well. So, it's important to understand those dynamics. I think they are at play. Yeah. Look at coal stocks last week.
Yeah, no, you're right, Strazza. He's right. That's right.
All right, let's bring on our guest here. A new guest on the morning show, Will Tamplin, senior analyst at Fairlead Strategies. He works with Katie Stockton, and he was kind enough to send us a few charts, which we always appreciate. So let's bring Will on and see what's on his mind, shall we?
Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
Will,
welcome.
Hey everybody, thanks for having me. Hey,
Will,
how we doing?
How you doing?
I'm good. Just a normal Monday morning over here at Fairlead Strategies. Just putting out some research, but happy to join you guys to talk about the markets this morning.
You look like you're in a home, not an office, Will.
Yeah, I work from home today.
Is that because it's Columbus Day? It's a sort of pseudo holiday, bond market, right?
Yeah, a little bit so. And then Katie is on the road out west for a conference. So work from home today.
So do you have a Connecticut situation then if you're going into the office? You look like you're in like a beach house.
Yeah, our office is based in Greenwich. So we work out of Greenwich, Connecticut, South Connecticut. Nice area. So good to have some office space. We picked that up last year. So feels legitimate.
I grew up there. It's a lovely place.
Yeah, it's very nice.
What is your role at Fairlead? Like what's your day-to-day? What are you looking at? I know Kevin, I've met Kevin a couple times. We've chatted. I know what he does. So kind of what are you helping out with on the strategy side of things?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, just producing research. That's kind of the core part of our business is producing technical strategy research. Katie obviously did it for 20 plus years on Wall Street, primarily producing research to institutions. She kind of wanted to take that research model and bring it more to Main Street as well. So she started Fairlead Strategies, I think 6 years ago now. And I joined 3 years ago as an analyst out of college. So I've been here for a little over 3 years, primarily help Katie produce the research, produce the content, write the content, make the charts. Yeah. So I'm kind of in there in the weeds in the research, and we run like a tiered subscription model. So we have a more premium service. So we do like portfolio scans for people in more project-based work, and so helping with that as well.
That's awesome. So did you go to college for business? How did you get into markets? And do you have more of a CMT or a CFA focus?
You are a CMT, right, Will?
I just got my CMT in August, actually.
Oh, nice.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes. Happy to join the club.
We have a lot of young or aspiring chart people who watch this show, and you're pretty fresh out of college. Why don't you kind of give us a little backstory? How did you find technical analysis? Because you typically don't find it, in the academic world.
Yeah, sure. So I was fortunate, to grow up in a household where, my family is financially literate. CNBC was on the TV, so I was kind of exposed to that in a way growing up. And then in college, I went to University of Richmond, and fortunately, they actually had a higher level, kind of like elective finance class on technical analysis. So
Really?
one of the few colleges that have
Yeah.
a TA course, and so I took that, and like I got the job at Fairlead. Sort of that got teed up through that class at Richmond. So that kind of like I kind of knew about TA, but taking that class and learning more about it, I was like, this is what I want to do. I had like an investment banking internship. And I wasn't super passionate about it, but like the charts, I feel like I felt like I could do it for fun.
Wait, so Will, wait, what was it about that spoke to you?
That's awesome, man.
Just about TA in general.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm just a visual learner. And I just find it honestly like kind of like satisfying looking at the charts and figuring out, good setups in the market, and just kind of piecing together the puzzle of the markets every day. And like you kind of have, the research part of the business, it's kind of the same schedule, but certainly the markets present a challenge, and I like solving it through the charts.
First of all, shout out University of Richmond, because this is rare. Not enough universities do it. There is a select handful who do put, a beautiful emphasis on technical analysis and make sure that their students graduate with at least some, baseline knowledge of the discipline. Universities that come to mind would be like Golden Gate University. Baruch is a big one. They're doing a great job with it. So University of Richmond, I did not know that. That's super cool.
Yeah.
And you hear this story a lot, Will, where people will tell you their, coming to technicals moment, right? And how they found it. And it's, markets were complex and confusing. I was in business school. I was learning about Black-Scholes. And then people started talking to me about technical analysis. And it's like this moment of clarity. Like, you know it when you feel it. Like, it just, everything kind of comes together. And the charts just speak to different people differently.
Yeah, no, I mean, it certainly like spoke to me. I just found it like a lot more appealing than just, honestly looking at doing ratio analysis and looking at balance sheets and income statements. Obviously, that stuff is very important. We certainly believe in fundamental analysis. It's just like what sort of appealed to me and what I thought, piqued my interest. And it was certainly the charts, over that more fundamental based analysis.
So Fairlead, is it fair to say, is a fusion analysis shop, right? Where you're incorporating.
I mean, we believe in fundamentals, but we're strictly focused on technical analysis. So, we're really just focused on the charts and, focusing on, I think clients really benefit from our research for, a lot of the reasons. In general, technical analysis helps people risk management, market timing, finding more favorable times to be adding exposure, having a sell discipline. I think that's something that's like, a fundamental portfolio manager, will come to us for, risk management, sell discipline, better times to be adding, general market timing. So we're really focused on technicals and, helping out people that are more fundamentally inclined, and they kind of do that on their end.
Yeah, I love that, because really teaming the two together is so good. Larry, real deep thinker in the chat. Technical analysis is fundamental analysis. Just zoom out. So this is great. There's a saying out there, David Lundgren, I think, has popularized it, at least in modern day, which is that the best fundamental analyst is the long-term trend, right? That is the fundamentals just charted on a price scale. So you also, when you're analyzing technicals, you're also taking into account earnings, maybe not the same way most like fundamental analysts would, but you look at earnings for like sentiment. Like we talked about this morning on the show, how the CPI print came out in October of 2022, and the market did the opposite of what we'd expect it to, right? That's technical analysis too, feeling the sentiment of the market, what should happen, what did happen, et cetera. So fundamentals are going to kind of play in to technicals in different ways all the time. So it's really funny that we like make this huge divide and say, no, this is fundamental, this is technical. There's so much overlap.
No, definitely. And like you mentioned around events, especially like, We always say, the reaction is kind of what we're watching. So, we're always, looking at, how does it react to this? Especially with gaps. That's one major thing, around earnings as we get into bank earnings season and stuff, just watching gaps as well. If something gaps up and falls right back into the gap, a day later, a couple of days later, maybe it's a little bit of a shakeout or a head fake and a reversal lower. And so you can kind of, and we obviously watching for breakouts to be confirmed with a couple of closes above, that kind of stuff. So really looking for the technicals on the reaction to those events to kind of confirm it. And, that's what we look for.
So go ahead, Spencer.
No, Will, just looking at some of the charts you sent over, and I'm seeing a variety of different things. You've got some moving averages on there, you got some MACDs on there, you got stochastics on there. Which indicators sort of speak to you the most, and why?
Yeah, I mean, I would say all of them. Like, we use a weight of the evidence approach, so we're using all of these different indicators. Momentum with the MACD. We're using overbought, oversold with the stochastic oscillator, and also the DeMark indicators, which is a third-party service. Trend following indicators like moving averages in the cloud model, and across 3 different time frames, really. So daily, weekly, monthly. We even look at intraday work for some clients. So it's really kind of the whole picture, where we can get a takeaway. The long term will affect the short term. In this case, currently, the long term is affecting the short term, in our opinion, in a way. So here you have the daily chart pulled up, which is great. You can see that the S&P 500 index just broke through a little bit of a short-term consolidation phase. You had that breakout in September. The market saw a little bit of digestion, and then now we're pushing out of that. You can see that there's a measured move projection of around 59.35. So that's just taking the up move from I believe it's like early August to mid-August, that rally, and you're projecting it from the low that was made in late August higher. So that's kind of just assuming that the wave that we saw in August will kind of continue in that same trajectory off of that late August low. So there's your measured move. You can see that the daily cloud model, which is that shaded purple area in the chart, has been great support for the S&P 500. You can see it held as support in April. You can see it held as support, around the yen, the whole yen debacle in late July, early August, and then as well in late August with that low there. So, the cloud model has been really valuable as support for us. And then, below that, the 200-day moving average pointing higher kind of tells you that, hey, we're in a cyclical bull market.
So what kind of clouds are these? Ichimoku clouds?
Yeah, Ichimoku. We're just using, span 1 and 2. So like, if you put Ichimoku on a chart, you'll see a bunch of different lines. We're just using like the cloud, the body of the cloud itself. You can use the cloud in a much more complex way. But we just kind of use it as support and resistance, and we use the slope of it, looking out forward.
Taking a look through your charts, I got to go straight to slide 20 because this is interesting. I am watching interest rates and dollars as closely as anything right now. I think they are so important to a prospective year-end rally. Is this a DeMark sell signal?
So this one's a buy. When it's so short-term downside exhaustion and TLT.
So that should correspond to some sort of a sell signal in rates.
Correct. We actually, if you chart rates, we don't have the corresponding sell on the 30-year or the 10-year quite yet, but like getting a little closer. So I mean, I think that, we've seen a pretty sharp sell-off in bond prices, pretty big move in yields. We think that can probably, we think it can stay firm, like that up move in yields can kind of keep going, for like very near term, like another week or two. But I think that with this 13 buy in TLT, we'll start to see some stabilization. There's some pretty good support You have the 200-day right there, and then there's also some weekly cloud support that's not shown on the chart, but it's just above 92 on TL2. You can also draw a trend line as well. I don't have it drawn on the chart, but that's a kind of additionally provides some support there in that 92, 93 area. So I think we'll start to see some stabilization. And then ultimately, longer term, we think yields are in a cyclical down move, bonds in a cyclical up move that can last for, several more months. So it's starting to get interesting, within that context, pretty short-term oversold in TLT.
Do you give much weight to the intermarket information from something like this? In other words, rates have been rallying, bonds have been selling off for weeks now, and risk assets have done pretty well. You just showed a chart of the S&P 500 breaking out. I always think of what markets are doing in the context of what they quote unquote should do. Typically, higher rates have been a headwind, but not over the past few weeks. What if all of a sudden they peak out, rates roll over here? Like you said, TLT, that's an exhaustion signal. Bonds start moving higher. Wouldn't that be a good thing for stocks?
I mean, yeah, with the way it's been like behaving, yields, we like, I would just say, like, in general, correlations with yields, like, we do put a little bit of weight on it. But I would say that correlations can break up. So like that is something that will factor into our analysis, but like price and momentum is ultimately gonna, be the main driver in our research.
Yep.
This up move in yields that we've seen, it's actually been, accompanied by, actually you could argue more risk on activity in the marketplace.
It's
So,
felt
I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, it's felt that way. And so, if yields roll over, maybe that might not be actually a good thing for stock prices, because we've seen, stocks go higher as yields have rebounded. So maybe the market's kind of liking that yields have firmed up a little bit and aren't just in free fall. So it definitely plays some part in our analysis, but I wouldn't say we put a huge weight on the correlations.
It's a great answer. Correlations dislocate, and you got to trust what's actually going on with the individual asset that you're trying to analyze. Other charts, Spencer, you want to go to any of these charts? Charts of interest?
Yeah. I mean, why don't we go to this Mag 7? Yeah, 22. There we go.
These look different, huh?
Yeah. So here's the Mag 7 with the Mag 7 index ratio versus the S&P. And this index is pretty much an equal weight of those classic Mag 7. But you can see on the ratio in the bottom, in absolute terms, it's still above that trend line off of that early 2023 low. But in relative terms, we've seen momentum, kind of neutralize, I guess is the best way to put it a little bit more. So maybe it's that, we're kind of calling it, or it's been called, the big rotation in the media. And I think we're on board with that. The baton being handed off from the Mag 7 to some other sectors. You've seen, more sectors this year. The dispersion between sectors is not as wide as it was in 2023. You've seen utilities do well,
There's a
although recently
broadening.
they've fallen off. Yeah, a little bit of a broadening, for sure. And so, it's just that, like, we've seen momentum in relative terms for the Mag 7 neutralize, like from a long-term momentum perspective. So that's just what this chart is reflecting, is that break of that trend line in the ratio there versus the S&P 500.
Yeah, and something you see all the time. We're always looking at our charts in a dual pane way, where we're using the relative trend down low like this, and you see the relative trend often lead the absolute trend. In other words, trend line break in the lower pane, then you start thinking yourself, okay, does the chart in the upper pane, the absolute trend, does that break and follow? Tends to be the case a lot. So
Yeah,
then
it can be.
if we get
sometimes.
rotation out of these names, right, which have really been the cycle leaders for the most part, where are you looking? I see a chart of energy that you sent us.
Yeah, energy is more of like a short term deal. Crude oil is pretty just like neutral from a long term perspective. The chart of XLE is range bound. to us. But you can see here on the daily chart that it did clear that cloud model, the daily cloud model. It's got positive momentum. It does have some resistance just above 94 to contend with. So I think we'll see some short, like very near term digestion. But ultimately, you know, we think energy stocks can perform well in the coming weeks. You know, that's more of a short term thing. You know, long term, our sector rotation work actually favors utilities, real estate, and then you know, consumer staples as well. It's actually pretty defensive. I would say that the most decisive like momentum shifts that we have are in real estate and utilities from a long-term relative momentum perspective. Like you could say short-term utilities, you know, have some room to pull back in relative terms a little bit and underperform. But, you know, longer term, we've seen, you know, our rotation work shows that, you know, real estate and utilities are, you know, set to benefit.
You look like you had some nice reversals there shaping up in the bond proxies and the defensive sectors, but they've really given back a lot of that outperformance over the past month.
No, they have, and you've seen like the ratio of XLU versus the S&P is, you know, back below its 50-day moving average.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's been certainly some relative weakness that we think can continue near term for utilities, REITs as well. Like they're in pullback mode certainly. But I think it's one that, you know, I think we would expect those ratios to make higher lows.
And when you guys do this kind of leadership work, like how are you looking at your ratios? Are you using the large cap weighted sector indexes or using equal weight baskets?
Yeah, we're using cap weighted. So we'll chart like every week in our weekly report. We chart all the 11 sectors, just like for example for utilities, the S&P 500 utilities index versus the S&P 500 index. And so we'll have that chart in our weekly report along with the other 10 sectors. And so you'll see that ratio in our research every week, and then we kind of like assign a bias to it, you know, under, equal, over, weight.
Love it. All right, before we let you go, tell me something bearish about the Hang Seng index here. Chart slide 21, guys.
Yeah. Once again, reconciling timeframes. So short term, you know, it definitely got extended.
Oh yeah.
There was a reversal bar. So it met some key resistance in the Hang Seng. Like you don't see it on this chart, but the monthly cloud model, if you put it on a higher time frame, a monthly, the monthly is right there. You have some previous peaks and troughs just north of 22,000. So it met that resistance, and you had a reversal bar. So it looks like we'll probably get a few weeks of digestion. It's been a huge move in China. I will say though that move did, you know, resolve a base higher. So it cleared that weekly cloud model that had defined that cyclical downtrend in China. So it was a major shift longer term, that move we saw. And so I think ultimately we're wanting to use a pullback to add some exposure to China, because we think that strength can continue, you know, in the months ahead. It just got overheated for sure.
With something like that, it's all about your time frame. For short-term traders, you could fade the hell out of it, probably get a great trade on the short side. But for anybody with, you know, primary trend type time frame, that's initiation style momentum. There's no other way to look at it. Right. So if you could zoom out and have a longer time frame, after you get momentum like that, like we saw from China over the past few weeks, you want to buy dips.
Yeah, no, I think we agree with that. I mean, you've really seen momentum accelerate. Even on a monthly chart, the monthly MACD looks a lot better. A lot of key levels have been cleared. It just, once again, it came too far, too fast, short term.
All right, last question. You're a young guy. I can't let you leave without asking you if you have an opinion at all on the cryptos. Yeah,
so we actually put out cryptocurrency research like today, every Monday. So our crypto report will come out today. You know, we have it at a pretty accessible price. But yeah, no, on the cryptos, like we haven't been very positive on Bitcoin in a little while. I mean, it's just been going sideways to lower. We really need to see it get out of that. You know, there's a trend line that's right around 68,000. You know, if Bitcoin clears that, I think you would see like the intermediate term momentum indicators improve, like the weekly MACD. It's been on a sell signal forever. Yeah. If you chart the weekly MACD on Bitcoin, so you want to see it, you know, get a breakout above 68, get the weekly MACD buy, and then you would look better for another move higher. But we do think there is some risk because like on the monthly stochastics has turned lower on Bitcoin. So we're leaning towards I think we're leaning towards Bitcoin staying in kind of a choppier environment, for several months. So we're a little bit down in the dumps on Bitcoin. Like we have a long-term neutral bias on Bitcoin. Longer term.
These consolidations, there's a saying, if they don't scare you out, they'll wear you out. And that's just, that is written all over the Bitcoin chart all year. Just chop, 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 chop. So
yeah, it's definitely been frustrating. But
Spencer, you got anything?
No, actually, I want to ask JC's question. How far down the cap scale do you go, crypto?
Not very far. So we look at the top 10.
Okay.
That's pretty much it in our crypto research. Yeah.
Cool.
It's a high line, and I don't hate it because, man, you get down, you go into the 30s, 40s.
He gets chunky down there real fast.
It's like, what's going on? You start charting bonk. It's
the Harry Potter coin. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, thanks a lot, Will. This is fun.
We do our crypto stuff on Fridays, Will, because we think cryptos are for the weekends. We do our on Fridays.
That's fair. We just do it after the weekend, I guess.
All right, that's awesome. This was fun.
Guys.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, it was fun. Thanks, guys.
Right. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Top 10. Come on, Katie. I gotta have a little conversation with Katie Stockton. We gotta step that up. Top 10. What are you gonna do with that?
I really like what Katie's doing over there. Young guy, young CMT, Connecticut guy.
She'll be coming on in a couple weeks. I don't know when, but probably in a couple weeks. So
yeah. Katie comes to our parties.
I know she does.
Talk to her about it then. 9:33. I know we have Sam Gatlin in the house. We'll bring him on in a sec. Anything else that we missed that we have not gotten to? I know we had a hot corner today. We had an interesting purchase.
I'll talk about it. I'll nobody's gonna like what I'm gonna say, but we could talk about it.
All right, let's talk about it.
Nobody's gonna
I might like it.
I don't think you're gonna like it.
All right, let's talk about it.
So hot right now.
I mean, what is going on here? We have.
Yeah, go ahead. I want to hear your take because I know that you see this and immediately have an opinion.
Well, yeah.
My first thought was, this is still a company.
My first thought is, did the algorithm break? Because this doesn't sound right at all. This can't be right. That's my first, Warren Buffett buying $86 million worth of Sirius satellite radio. Didn't have that on my bingo card, I'll tell you that.
Here's the thing. It gets worse. He's been doing this since 2016. It's not new.
Uncle Warren, what are you doing, bro?
And we talk about how some of these guys eventually, we talk about Uncle Carl, some other uncles, they lose their edge.
Uncle Warren, what are you doing, bro? Stop, man.
Charlie's not around anymore. I don't know. What's going on over there in Omaha? Warren, where are you? Maybe is he even going into the office?
Warren, no more McDonald's. Lay off the cherry Coke.
Too much.
Serious satellite, bro, really?
Sugar makes you crazy.
Sugar makes you crazy.
Makes you crazy. True. So we're going to start just fading all of Warren Buffett's moves. If you want some more of that, just sign up for the hot corner. That's what we're going to do. No?
I mean, listen. We look at the bearish stuff and we look at the short stuff and we find long ideas from those things. There's nothing wrong with finding short ideas in Uncle Warren's portfolio. He's been wrong a lot. A lot. He's made terrible decisions over the years. We know, we have the data.
Allow me to jump to Warren's defense here because I feel like someone needs to.
For the record, no one's hating on Uncle Warren. We love Warren Buffett.
I'm not
hate. This is
no
just
one's hating on Uncle
nothing
Warren.
Personal. All business. Nothing personal.
The biggest, nobody's hating. It's just, the biggest story in insider filings world for the last 2 or 3 years has been Buffett buying Occidental Petroleum. The trade never worked for anybody, not even them. They're in a loss position now. It's been a disaster. Talk about opportunity cost. So just saying, even the best are not so good sometimes. Everybody loses, I think, is the lesson here. Warren Buffett, truly one of the greatest, maybe the greatest of all time to ever do this. He loses. He probably loses a lot. He
loses a lot, and he readily admits to that fact. And has said, "Look, if I can make, one smart decision for every 8 or 9 wrong ones, that'll be pretty good, right?"
And again, just to reiterate, nobody's hating on Warren Buffett. He is the man. He's a legend. He's a hero to me and Strazza. Probably even more so Strazza than me, definitely Spencer. Spencer, total fanboy. But for me, it's not about that. It's just reiterating that as great as Warren Buffett is, and billionaire and very successful track record and all those things, it's public information. Obviously, he has been wrong a lot. May I remind you that one of the worst decisions Warren Buffett ever made was buying Berkshire Hathaway. Had he not bought Berkshire Hathaway, his net worth today would probably be close to double at least.
The irony.
Think about that.
The irony of that situation.
The irony of it all, right? Exactly.
So what I really want to see from Uncle Warren is him just wail into the Bitcoin market right now. I think that's his move. Think about it. He's holding all this cash. The last time Warren Buffett shocked the world with a move that everybody was like, he doesn't buy tech stocks. He bought a shitload of Apple, and it was the best thing he's done for the last 10, 15 years. Okay? Yeah. Shocked everybody. This isn't Warren Buffett. Is that right? People didn't believe the filings when we got it, right? So
I didn't believe this filing.
So this sounds crazy. Why don't they put some of that cash in Bitcoin? This range is about to resolve. Why not? I don't know. I don't think it's as crazy as it sounds.
Wait, I have a question. Do they have to reveal that?
So you guys hate Warren Buffett. Of course. You nailed it in the chat. Nailed it. That's exactly what we just said.
Yeah, that's what we said. We hate Warren Buffett.
Let's move on.
I have speaking of hate, can we talk about communism?
Wait, real fast. Please. Why do they have to file if they buy Bitcoin?
It's a publicly traded stock.
But it's not like they're buying a publicly traded company or anything.
Wait, what happened?
Like, would Berkshire have to file?
Because they would buy it through IBIT, and that would require the same filing.
Aha.
That's why.
Catch. All right.
They would buy it through IBIT.
Moving on.
And frankly, Spencer, too, even if they did it in the spot market, they're going to come out and talk about it.
They're going to come out and talk about it. Right. That's right. It's going to be so significant for it to matter, right?
Yeah. But I would imagine
Berkshire Hathaway and Bitcoin have the same market cap roughly. So
I'd be shocked if they don't give that business to BlackRock, though.
All right, let's talk to right, exactly. Strazza's right. Let's talk about communism. This is a real question that I have. Serious question. Slide 5, please, Spencer Israel, if you will.
Oh boy, what is this?
Real question. Serious question.
I'm afraid.
Should we be looking at the candlesticks or should we be looking at the line charts? Right, I know this is somewhat of a chart crime here because this week just started and these are weekly charts. I'm prefacing with, I know this is a chart crime, but I make the rules around here. I say what's a chart crime or what it's not. So I'm fully aware of what's happening here. That doesn't change the fact that what is the answer to the question? Is it fair to use the line charts here to give us a better idea of what's happening in old China?
I'll take a volatile, gappy market like this and I'll line it out. But again, I think it's our call, right? Sometimes I'll look at a biotech stock. You know how some of these low float stocks trade and you got these wacky candles. I say, no, it's not for me. I need a line chart. So it depends for me on like the volatility of whatever asset is in question.
You like this?
I would line this out. Yeah, I mean, look.
You like at least bringing the question to the table. You appreciate that?
I think line charts are so underrated. They're some of the most underrated charts that we have.
Oh my God! Speaking of line charts, you know what I had somebody tell me? Someone told me that it was that I don't know anything about Dow theory because I was looking at weekly closing prices as opposed to daily closing prices, which are the ones that matter. Can you believe that somebody told me that?
I mean, look. It's actually good that this stuff happens. Candlesticks
is true. This is
information. True. That's totally correct, Mike. But line charts can simplify and smooth out that information when you don't want all of it.
So another thing I want to point out from this, in the candlestick chart over on the left side here, you have a higher low on that second low But on a weekly closing basis, you had a little bit of an undercut there in the old China there, Strazza. You know how we love that old scoop and score, right?
Look, China looks fantastic. I don't even care what happened for the last 2 weeks. I care about what happened in September and the first week of October. The next couple weeks probably characterized by some backing and filling, some corrective action. What form that takes, if it's high and tight, if it comes with some downside, we don't know, right? But I think whatever that dip looks like, it's a dip to be bought. That's how I feel about China right now. You drop a VWAP from the highs from just earlier this month. And once we're back above those VWAPs, buyers back in control of the short-term trends, it's go time. I'm seeing base after base after base complete. Just pull up a chart of Tencent. That's their Apple or Amazon or, take your pick. The biggest company in China, Tencent. The reversal is in. The path of least resistance is higher. I think the rest follow.
Volume candlesticks are amazing. According to Turcam, I would argue that they are more of a distraction than amazing. But to each its own.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of funky candles. The Ricci, they got all these crazy names. You can make them into raindrops.
You were just talking about the Ichiros.
Sizes. What?
The Ichiros.
The Ichiro Suzuki's?
Yeah.
All right.
You won't find candlesticks in Japan. That's for damn sure. Quite the disappointment. Good call there, stock market, Mike. I looked all over. They just don't exist.
What are the odds of a Subway series this year? Like, am I getting excited for nothing?
You're asking me what the actual odds are, or because I don't know.
Hard pivot there.
Like, are the Mets good enough? Because last night was really boring for me.
I don't know.
I don't watch baseball much, but that was tough.
I don't know. Well, ask me again in a week. Ask me in a week. How about that?
Was it like their good pitcher or something? Like why?
No, it was very good a pitcher and the Mets bad pitcher combined. So that's what you get. Hey, let's bring on Sam.
Bring him up. Bring him out.
Mr. Gatlin.
Wow,
that bumper is too good.
That bumper's too good. We need a more smooth transition at the end though. Like that abrupt stop.
Right.
Like I don't really like that. We gotta work. Right. We got the DJ. We need the DJ to mix it a little better.
Yeah.
All right.
Right, Sam?
Yeah, that's right. Well, thanks for getting that for me, Spencer.
All right.
No,
better than nothing.
Fantastic. Nice job, Spencer. We could do better.
No, I'm taking none of the credit. That was all easy.
All right. We'll give you the blame, none of the credit.
Why is Sam's bumper so short compared to the other bumpers?
Yeah, and there was no mention of avocado toast or nothing.
I actually made it longer. It was originally even shorter than that. I asked him to make it longer. So,
all right. So we're moving on from the New York Metropolitans, and we are talking about. Hopefully, we're talking about biotechnology. Do I have that right, Sam? Or
I brought some Bitcoin stocks too. If you're into that,
I am into that.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
Let's start out with number 22.
Hell yeah. Somebody's listening out there. Good for you, Sam. Good for you. The world needs more bubble charts. Give it to them.
So this is the components of the Bitcoin mining ETF, excluding NVIDIA, because why is NVIDIA included in that? So Core Scientific is the best Bitcoin miner. And then you have a bunch that are lagging behind, not outperforming the benchmark, not making new 52-week highs. So if you go to the next slide, I brought along Core Scientific here. Really making new all-time highs here. The company went bankrupt about a year ago, so now they have 2 tranches of warrants that expire in January of 2027 and January of 2029.
The best thing about stocks going bankrupt is we usually get warrants.
Yes,
that's right. Warrants. We're getting bubble charts. Sam, you are my man. You are my man.
You know what? The Cypher warrants are starting to work too. A lot of these Bitcoin miners, they're such shit companies. They all offer warrants. There's a ton of warrants to go around if you're interested in the Bitcoin miners. But Sam, this one looks different, does it not?
Yeah, that's what I was pointing out, is that this is not just a junky Bitcoin miner with warrants, but this is the best Bitcoin miner making new.
That happens to have warrants.
That happens to have warrants. It's making new all-time highs relative to Bitcoin.
Were you able to find the details? Were you able to find the details on the exercise?
Yeah, let's talk about that after the show.
Okay. it could be confusing sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you actually literally have to go to the broker and be like,
I went to the SEC filings.
Yeah. All right, good. We'll
Yeah.
talk after the show.
Yeah.
We're going to put out a
Let's do it.
post on this because it's breaking out and
Yeah,
it looks
it's
fantastic.
so good.
So kudos to you for all watching. They're going to go run this stock now, Sam. It's going to blow your target before you.
Yeah, definitely. I hope so. I'm long. So I also brought along the MicroStrategy. So MicroStrategy just holds a lot of Bitcoin, and I think Bitcoin's going to look a lot like MicroStrategy. I brought along the weekly MACD there to show that MicroStrategy has indeed crossed to the upside with that weekly MACD. Bitcoin is not quite there yet, but I think it happens this week, next week.
It's not just
very soon.
MicroStrategy, right? Like MicroStrategy, fantastic. First of all, it should happen. It's the levered vehicle. So if Bitcoin's going to break out, MicroStrategy should break out faster and move higher, right? But Robinhood's breaking out. Galaxy Digital's breaking out. Coinbase is ripping higher. The miners are starting to work. You just talked about
and it's a lot of these weekly
breakdown.
MACD crosses that have been negative for the entire year while these stocks have turned sideways for prolonged periods. So that's what really gets me excited, is that I think the momentum is finally coming in here and we're going to resolve these prolonged, boring, terrible messes.
And I think that weekly MACD cross is so important. I wrote a few weeks ago about the Solana weekly MACD.
Yeah, exactly.
It was really shaping up, looked like it was about to cross over. Never got the signal, right? More back and filling, but it's still right there at the center line trying to cross up. I think as soon as you get a confirmed momentum crossover in Solana, or really any of the big four, go time.
Absolutely. That's what has my attention in the crypto space.
You want to talk about biotechs too, or?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Please.
I also brought the Artificial Superintelligence Alliance.
Tell me about this
I
one.
love
is
this.
This one
Tell me-
looks
tell me
really
more.
good. So
Tell me
this is Fetch AI. They merged with
So
two of them. I owned one of them. Not really sure what
circle
happened.
on the chart for us in the future where this name change happened. Because JC, did you hear what happened here?
Tell me.
They had AI in their name. They had AI in
And
their
remember, this is a stock, not this is a cryptocurrency, not a stock.
Right.
Yes.
To remind everybody what's happening here.
They already had AI in their name. They're like, that's not good enough. We need super intelligent AI alliance in our name. They like, I don't even know. This is like Riot blockchain turning into like Riot digital super blockchain coins.
Yep.
This is like super micro compute. Like this is, wow. I don't know. How do you feel?
So it was Fetch AI before.
Yeah.
So they kept that ticker. And then they joined with Singularity Net, which was Ajax, which I was long. I'm not sure what happened to that. I need to go find it. I had it somewhere on a cold wallet. I'm not sure what happened to it.
This is why I don't have a cold wallet.
Yeah. It also has the Ocean Protocol, if you were familiar with that one before.
Is that Waves?
I'm not sure what the ticker was for that. But those all merged into this alliance.
Wow. So the AI cryptos are all colluding.
Yeah.
You got to own it.
Yeah.
3.5 billion, not nothing.
Yeah. And can we talk about slide number 27 too? I'm kind of excited about this one. Scott's Miracle Grow.
What are you going to
check out this chart, Strazza?
What about it?
This is a textbook primary trend reversal in the Scott's Miracle Grow, and you can get it's like a 3x to get back to those former all-time highs. No?
Is there marijuana? Are there marijuana cigarettes involved with this company, or am I wrong?
I believe you can use their product to grow marijuana.
And then
isn't this a marijuana cigarette stock, Strazza, or am I wrong? Or it used to be?
This is very much a cannabis play.
Okay, I just wanted to double check that I wasn't crazy. Okay.
Yeah, they still sell fertilizer, and that's a great anchor business, but they made a way too big of a bet on cannabis, which is why, Sam, as you mentioned, so the stock was in a 85% drawdown at the 2022 lows. I mean, look, if this one works, Sam, I think you have to expect the growers, so like the cannabis funds, to turn around and start working too. Otherwise, do you really want to own the guys who supply the guys who make no money? I don't know.
Maybe.
Do you? Is that sustainable?
Maybe. I don't know. The chart looks good, Strazza. I don't know.
Viable business? I don't know. I got more questions than answers.
Sam, tell him it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, Strazza. This chart looks amazing, and I'm interested.
Now do
Yeah,
it
I'm
on
in
interested
above
too.
86.
Don't
Let's
let him
go.
talk to you like that, Sam.
This one's not getting through.
It might not. I hope it doesn't. I hope it goes to 0. Who cares? But if it breaks
Actually,
out, I'm in.
All jokes aside, I mean, Sam, if you look at Scott's Miracle Grow relative to the S&P, you got a base there too. Maybe it's the start of something.
Yeah. I think it is. I think there's something here. Yeah.
Do you overthink it and just buy the Tilray and YOLO it instead?
No, this one has plenty of juice is the thing. Like if you get back to those former highs. that's a big move.
Tilray is literally chopping around at all-time lows. I mean, is this a good buy or a good buy? Cannabis is interesting here.
I like buying a breakout. How many stocks, how many indexes, how many charts do we see that have this exact same, how you doing, smiley face, gets the crap kicked out of it, after 21 into 22, multi-year bottoming process, didn't get the memo that we've been in a bull market, and now they're resolving higher. Software, cloud computing, ARC stocks, China, airlines.
Biotech.
I think
slide 28 on that note.
Yeah.
Check this one
Dan
out.
Marchese talking about this is your pattern, Steve. Yes,
I know.
it is his pattern. Thank you.
You guys
gotta pay attention.
I think you guys got to fade my sentiment. I'm going full fundamental where there's a beautiful base. It's the same chart we've been buying, and I don't like it because pot sucks. I don't
like any of this.
Yeah. All right. I don't know. I'll go for a walk after the show. I'll think about it.
Yeah. Listen, this is good advice. Whenever you think the world's coming to an end, just go for a walk. Shout out Phil Perlman. Let's do a little recess. What do you say there, Spencer? Confession time, Spencer Israel. Remember when I went to Red Robin a few months ago?
Yeah, I told you weren't going to like it, and you said it was not that bad.
Guess what we had at the twins' birthday party on Saturday at the farm? We had the Red Robin food truck.
Oh, they have a food truck. No kidding.
And it was quite the hit amongst other parents.
Do they smash their burgers? Are they on trend, or are they?
Burgers not bad. Bad. You got some fried pickles going. You had all different kinds of lemonade.
Wow. I love fried pickles, man. I like fried pickles.
It was the pretzels. Pretty good pretzels. The kids were really loving them. So parents of the year over here with the Red Robin food truck. Just throwing that out there.
Did they have beer cheese with the pretzel?
Beer cheese.
Beer
cheese.
Yeah.
Yep. Little dipping sauce. Oh yeah. Of course.
Great. That's fantastic.
I guess every restaurant needs a food truck now, because that's the thing.
It's the way. Food trucks, versatile.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't really have anything good for recess. So Sam or Steve, you guys got anything?
I can just tell a quick story. Went on the worst.
Yeah. How was the fishing?
Worst fishing trip of my life. We were all literally scared for our lives. My girlfriend is traumatized. It became like a crazy fishing person thing. So there's a situation where fishermen are like surfers. The worse the conditions out there, the better they think it is, right? So they want to go risk their lives. We went out 30 miles on a 7-hour trip hunting for mahi and tuna and wahoo and God knows what else, marlin. There were 23-mile-per-hour winds. You're not supposed to fish north of 20. We were not going with the tide, but it was coming straight at us. Everything was crashing in the boat. All of the Tupperware cups, glasses were coming out in the kitchen, smashing everywhere. Everyone's throwing up and sick. My buddy was literally TKO'd, laying in the bed, cold sweats. Rose is throwing up over the side of the boat. And we got 5 crazy friends who were like, we're going to get the fish. So he kept going. And that was, it was just awful. Everything about it. I didn't get
lesson learned.
Yeah. I mean, it's what you sign up for, something like that. There was 18 of us on a boat. So there were 5 people sick and 10 people who were like, let's go crazy, hardcore fishing. So we were outnumbered. But it was an experience nonetheless. And it was a core workout because just trying to hold on and not fly all over the place, my core is sore now.
Okay. That sounds like not a fun time, but at least you got a good story out of it. That's all that counts.
You got to do more of that thigh master that you've been doing, Strazza.
You think so?
Yeah. Is anyone doing the Phil Perlman fast after tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was admittedly I was kind of a bad Jew, and I didn't really fast when I was supposed to on Saturday. Mostly because the holiday coincided with my like bi-monthly Costco trip that I look forward to for weeks, right? So I went to Costco. I may have had a couple free samples. Who's to say? So, long story short, I'm gonna fast with Phil.
I think you're a good Jew, Spencer.
Thank you.
Great Jew. You're the best
Somebody
Jew.
who loves the whole entire Jewish community. I freaking love Jews. You're a good Jew, Spencer. Don't let them tell you otherwise.
Appreciate it.
One of
So
the
anyway,
best. I had a lot of dessert this weekend. Feeling it today.
wait, JC. Since I don't really know, this is the first I'm hearing of it. What is the deal with this fast? Are we doing 1 day? Are we doing 2 days? What's the deal?
I have never done a fast of more than 24 hours, and I could probably count on one hand how many times I've done 24 hours. Probably 3 times. I've never gone past that. So I don't know how I'm going to do, but I'm going to load up on protein tonight. I'm going to do the best I can and see if I can make it through tomorrow night. I'll take the under, I'm thinking. I don't think I'm going to make. How am I going to go to sleep tomorrow night starving? Like, that's just not going to work. I don't think.
Wait, hold on. Just so I know, we're starting tonight and we're going till when? Wednesday? Okay, I can do that. Here's my answer.
It's the trick before bed.
What? No. So here's the thing. If you can just make it through 24 hours, then day 2 is really not that hard.
Right, but how am I going to go to sleep tomorrow night starving?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
You can drink water, I think, right? Yeah, drink water.
In my head, I'm going to do it. I want to do it. I want to be here on Wednesday talking to you guys about how I haven't eaten since Monday. I would love that. I don't know that I could do it. I think I'm a little bit of a bitch. You know, like I don't think I can do it.
Here's the truth. I love Perlman. I love the Perlman program. This is stupid. Sam, do you hear these guys? You live once. Why would you starve yourself? I don't understand.
No one's.
It's good for the brain. Like, you know how sometimes you feel really dumb. If you want to like stop feeling that way, mix in a fast or 2.
It's a good reset.
Good for the brain.
The body's supposed to fast.
Yeah, the body's supposed to fast.
Sam,
I do like 16 to 20 hour fasts almost every day. So like that's really easy for me. I'm probably on 5. What time is it? 10. I'm at 15 hours right now.
I had a full plate of bacon and eggs at 7:30 this morning.
One night, JC.
Oh no, but what I'm saying is I'm regularly doing like that. I just haven't gone past 24.
I've not eaten since 7 o'clock last night. Freaking up.
All right, sorry, that's a big deal for a lot of people.
All right,
it was for me at one point. Now it's not, but 15 is 15.
Also,
Recess is like, I've been fasting for at least 30 minutes.
I've been fasting this whole show. Usually I eat on breaks, but I haven't done it once. Shout out Elon Musk and launching rockets into space.
God, did you see that?
I'm not into it, but at a certain point, you just have to like be honest about what's going on here. That's insane. I saw the video. That's incredible. How did we figure this out? Like, shout out humans, shout out space shuttles, all that.
Shout out Earthlings.
You know, I don't get it, but wow.
That was awesome, man. That was awesome.
Cool, man. The stuff he does is really crazy.
You got anything for us?
Yeah, tough loss for the Royals, Spencer. I just wanted to congratulate you.
Thank you.
Yankees.
I appreciate it.
They look good.
They've
got a stacked lineup like that Giancarlo Stanton with Aaron Judge.
Yep.
It's kind of nasty.
Shout out New York sports.
Yeah, shout out New York.
Go New York, go New York. How about what's his face? How about Villanueva, right? What's his face? Abusing Tubbs from the free throw line?
I didn't see that.
Wait, DiVincenzo?
DiVincenzo, not Villanueva. DiVincenzo.
No, he wasn't. It wasn't about that. It was.
I was watching the game yesterday. Knicks
I don't know. I thought that was pretty good.
It wasn't about that. Anyway, what's the deal here? It's Monday, right? JC's doing a mastermind, right? You're doing a mastermind today in like an hour.
Yep.
We've got Chart Request live at 1. We've got our town hall later on this afternoon, rescheduled from last week, and that's the plan. Gold Rush peeps will get their video, and that's what we got going on today. So thanks to Will for hanging out with us, Will Tamplin. Thanks, Sam, for hanging out. Thanks, chat, for hanging out. Go make some money, all right? And see you guys, I guess, tomorrow, right?
Adios. Do it.
There's a cat on the show now.
I'm gonna try, Spencer. See what happens.
You should. All right.
Adios.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs.